Que lo que mis amigos, I'm currently working on trying to develop my Dominican accent. And actually, I don't want to just develop this Dominican accent, but I want to master it. And one big reason for this is that I have never mastered any accent in the Spanish language before. So for me, it would be a very big accomplishment. So one of the first things that I'm doing is actually not doing what I did last year to try to develop the Dominican accent. I had no knowledge and no strategy whatsoever of how to actually do this because trying to develop an accent within the Spanish language was completely new to me. But mostly what I did was consume more content from the Dominican Republic. And then I started to feel more comfortable because people started to tell me that, oh, you sound like you're Dominican. Or they would ask me, oh, are you from the Dominican Republic? So that's when I started to get very lazy, and then I just really wasn't practicing whatsoever. And this year, I really haven't been doing anything with the Dominican accent at all, and for that reason, I have lost my accent to a certain extent, which I never knew was possible until this year. And right now, I would say that there's two main parts of what I'm doing to develop the Dominican accent. One part of that is consuming a lot of Dominican content, and then the other part of that is doing a lot of speaking practice. Now, I'm gonna describe exactly what that means because it sounds very simple, but it is way more complex than I could have ever imagined. Now, for consuming Dominican content, what I really want to do is watch as many movies and TV shows as possible, listen to a lot of bachata and merengue, so music from the Dominican Republic, and then also listening to the radio or podcast or something like that. And the main point of this is to adapt my ear to how Dominicans sound. I have to get accustomed to the way that they speak there. And this has a lot to do with listening comprehension. And it's really funny because I thought that I had really good listening comprehension for me to be able to develop my neutral accent in Spanish. But now it feels like I'm back at square one and I'm a complete baby when it comes to developing an accent and then also my listening comprehension, my ability to understand what Dominicans are saying and how they are saying different things. So what I'm trying to listen for when I'm consuming this Dominican content is their rhythm, the cadence and the way that they speak, velocity, vocabulary, and pitch and tone. So when I'm watching a movie or a TV show, I am making sure that I'm writing a ton of notes for each of these sections because I have realized that a lot of these different things are a part of the Dominican accent. It's not just the way that it sounds, it's more complex. It's all these different things combined together that actually make the accent. So that's something that I had to realize, I think, first for me to be able to actually imitate Dominicans a lot more and make sure that my accent actually doesn't go away. One big thing that I've noticed about the rhythm of the Dominican accent is that it's not just always very slow and it's also not just always very fast. So it's not just a plain tone or anything like that, but there's a lot of variation in the way that they say things. I don't have everything figured out yet, but one of the methods that I'm going to be using is just to simply mimic everything that I am hearing and also seeing. So whether I'm watching a movie or a TV show or I'm listening to music, then I'm going to be repeating all the different words and phrases that I am hearing, but then also making sure that I am stressing my accent so that it sounds more Dominican. So this is quite challenging for me as well because I'm still trying to figure out what again is my specific Dominican accent. How exactly do I sound? How do I stress a Dominican accent? This is a really big learning process for me and it is very confusing sometimes. The first thing that I need to do to be actually able to repeat what they are saying is to be able to understand what they are saying. So that is kind of the difficult part of this because I still have a lot to struggle when it comes to my listening comprehension with Dominicans. So that is where this whole process can get very tricky. Since my listening comprehension is so low, one thing that I would like to do is find some scripts for some movies or TV shows and then follow along, read out loud with the Dominican accent. Another thing that I usually do right now is take a news article or take out my book and then just read, but with a Dominican accent as well. Como de alguien recién despertado y que aún no comprende, a veces se quedaba mirando las fotos o el cuadro de su hija, desvanecida del mundo antes de yo que naciera, la miraba durante un minuto, tal vez, seguramente. Y mi madre también la miraba así a veces, a su alejada hermana. Interrumpía la lectura y se quitaba la gafa de vista cansada, con un dedo metido en el libro por no perder la página y las gafas en la otra mano. Se quedaba mirando a veces hacia ninguna parte. Reading like that really allows me to control my rhythm, my speed, and then also the tone and pitch of my voice with this Dominican accent. Versus in a conversation, there's a lot more things that are involved. For example, I'm trying to listen to the other person and then also trying to respond, think of what I want to say, and then also trying to use the Dominican accent all at the same time. So that gets quite complicated. But with this, I have all the sentences that I'm going to say right in front of me. I don't have to think about them spontaneously, so I can practice it a little bit easier. But on the other hand, this really shows me where all my weaknesses are when it comes to learning this Dominican accent. It's very challenging for me to be able to maintain the Dominican accent, a very thick one, a very strong one, when I'm saying multiple sentences at a time. I can say just like one word or a few phrases with the Dominican accent just fine, but then connecting multiple sentences together and then using Dominican accent is very, very hard. So that is something that I'm actually going to have to practice a lot, and not just with the book, but just coming straight from my head and then also in conversation. I'll be doing a lot of speaking practice throughout the day, so just with myself about different topics, but with the Dominican accent, and then also doing a lot of narration. Another thing that I want to start doing is thinking in Spanish, but with a Dominican accent. That's something I haven't really tried out before, and it's kind of difficult to do, actually. Another thing that I have to be doing is having conversations with Dominicans. So just speaking with myself is good and all, but I need to have that actual interaction where I'm talking with a Dominican, because that will be, for me, my true test. I will have to work on my confidence and really breaking out of my shell, because one thing that I definitely know that I do is I stop using the Dominican accent when I'm talking with one of my Dominican friends, because I feel really nervous and I feel like I can't express myself, then I don't really show my personality and things like that. But to be able to stop doing that, I need to be a lot more expressive, be more loud, and just feel fine with feeling awkward. Because speaking Spanish with a new accent is quite uncomfortable, especially when I'm speaking with Dominicans, because I don't know if I sound Dominican at all or if I just sound completely like a gringo. So that is something that I have to get over, is still using my Dominican accent no matter how bad it is or how good it is. Just practicing as much as I can and exaggerating it as much as possible, because eventually I will get better. Maybe right now I'm doing terrible, but I will get to where I would like to be in the future. But I don't know, maybe I'm thinking about this way too hard. I guess we'll find out in a few months. If you are currently learning the Dominican accent, or you are learning some other accent from a different Spanish-speaking country, let me know in the comment section below. Tap or click on the screen to watch this next video about different resources that you can use to learn Dominican Spanish. Thank you very much for watching this video. Me llamo Josué, esto es Spanish Blueprints, y nos vemos en el próximo video.